Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. I hesitate to say happy November 1st because I don't know about you, but I always get down after Halloween. So that's the reason why I decided this would be a good day to do kickoff sprints for November and kickoff sprints for our House of Leaves book club group read project for the month of November and into part of December. I do have a reading schedule for House of Leaves. If you haven't seen that yet, it is on my Instagram, which I will make sure to link. And then it is also, I think, on my community post on YouTube. I had someone ask me about a Discord for our group read, which would be great. I am on Discord on other people's channels, but I don't I don't do anything other than comment on other people's channels. Because to be honest with you, I find Discord a little bit overwhelming. But if you are participating in the House of Leaves group read and you would like for me to do a Discord channel for it, I can do that. Just let me know. You can just put in the comments, yes, if you want a Discord channel. So be sure to say hello if you're here. Also, if you're planning to read House of Leaves in November with me, then leave a leaf emoji. If you're just here to hang out, which is great, just leave a heart emoji. That way I kind of know who is here and who is planning to participate in House of Leaves. So, also, I'd love to know, how was your Halloween? What did you do? Did you dress up? Did you go somewhere? Um, my husband and I were Gomez and Morticia Adams, and my youngest daughter was Wednesday. We stay here and just pass out candy. We have a pretty good bit of kids and even teenagers too who typically trick or treat in our neighborhood. So we just kind of sit outside. We have a Halloween playlist. We have just a little bonfire in the front yard and just have a really good time. I have a Halloween tree and we do spooky stuff in the yard. So we go all out. So it's a lot of fun. And like I said, I'm always a little bit sad when it's over. Hi, Nim. Hi, Nim. I'm glad to see you here. I hope that, yeah, gonna do your best with House of Leaves. I feel that. I am going to do my best too. It is actually going to be, I think I've mentioned this a few times on Instagram and in my YouTube videos, that this will be like my fourth attempt at House of Leaves. But I feel like if we kind of get into this, let me adjust this camera. I don't know. I'm not the best at lives. So doing sprints is quite out of my comfort zone. But here I am. But yeah, House of Leaves, I feel like if we're all working on it together, we can do it. Hi, Jillian. Did I say your name right? Is it Jillian or Gillian? I know sometimes people would call it Jillian, but then I think of the writer Gillian Flynn is Gillian. Yes, that's what. Yeah, I agree. Having a schedule and people to read it with. Yeah, because I think I mentioned at the beginning that it's actually going to go through November and into the first couple of weeks of December, because I was kind of looking at it and trying to think about how to schedule it, because I know multiple people have said that you have to take your time with it. So I wanted to make sure we didn't feel too overwhelmed. Yeah, Discord, it is overwhelming. And I do, like I said, I respond and chat on other people's channels. But sometimes even that can get overwhelming for my brain. But I will, if there's enough interest, then I will try the Discord. But I definitely will be posting like weekly updates on both Instagram and YouTube, where we can talk in the comments on YouTube. We can chat, in comments on Instagram, because I want to kind of check on everybody and kind of give some things we can think about as we're reading. Okay, good, Jillian. I'm so glad to have both of you here. So I will give it a few more minutes, see if we have any other people coming on. I'm just trying to recover today from last night. It is always fun, but then I get tired from all the extra stuff, and we've had quite a busy time around my house lately. 2 weekends ago, we had, well, I went with one of my older daughters for wedding dress shopping, and we got her wedding dress. She's getting married October 19th, 2025. And then this past weekend on Friday night, she and I went to an Edgar Allan Poe speakeasy event that happened near where we live. And it's like a tour group that goes around. They go to a bunch of different places. So I will try to link that down in the description box for this video or this live after it goes up, because they go different places. And I highly recommend, if they come anywhere near you, to go see them if you're a fan of Poe. So they put on performances. They did 3 of his stories and 1 of his poems. And then they had a cocktail to go with each story or poem. And it was so much fun. And then last Saturday night, my husband and I hosted an engagement party for our daughter and fiance at our house. So this weekend, my plan is just to read and chill, because it has been a lot. So I figure we'll do about 45 minutes. And I plan to go till around 1, as far as I know. But before we kind of go, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we can be thinking about, since both of you are, going to get into House of Leaves with me. Now, I do have a master's in English, so I have a bit of a nerd brain sometimes, but I don't want to overwhelm everybody. But I just have some things we can think about as we go into House of Leaves. And I feel like that might help us to kind of, I wouldn't say make sense of this book, because I don't really think people can make sense of this book, but maybe appreciate it more, maybe help us kind of gather a little bit of insight into what Mark Z. Danielewski is trying to do with this book. So I just have a few little notes here. There are certain like literary theories that can be applied to different texts. And one of the main theories that I kept seeing in relation to House of Leaves is postmodernism. So what that really is a theory that focuses on like the fragmentation or the breaking up of narratives, the blurring of genres, and questioning traditional literary conventions. So if you know anything about House of Leaves, you know it does all of those things. It has multiple narrators, shifting perspectives, text that's written backwards, sideways, different colors, all that. So it's really kind of a good text to apply this kind of postmodern lens to. There's also a literary theory called deconstruction, and that looks at the instability of language and the impossibility of definitive meaning, which would fit this book well too, kind of questioning, is the author the final authority? Is the reader the final authority? What does this language mean? How can this language be interpreted in multiple ways? And this novel will really kind of go in that really well. Oh, nerd, yes, nerd brains unite. And then there's the obvious psychoanalytic theory. Freud, a lot of Freud, right? And I'm going to talk some more about that in a minute too. But psychoanalysis, we can use that to explore the psychological depths of the characters. The notes that I was reading said particularly the character of Johnny Truant, his unreliable narration and fragmented memories will offer insight into his mental state. There's a couple of others, but I feel like those are the main ones that were mentioned the most. And I want to talk a little bit more about postmodernism. And this is from an article that was written by Ashley Starling. And it is called The Terror of the Uncanny, a look at narrative in Mark Z. Danielewski's House of Leaves. And she purports that the postmodern structure of the multi-layered narratives in House of Leaves produces horror through multiple characters and points of view. She also kind of uses it in conjunction with Sigmund Freud's concept of the uncanny. And the uncanny is from Freud's work. In German, it is unheimlich, which means literally unhomely. And I find that really interesting too, because unhomely, as in something that looks familiar, but there's something about it that's a little bit off. And also this idea of the house itself in House of Leaves, that it is a home, but as we find out, it is a home that is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So it becomes unhomely in that way too, that it should be this safe space where a family can dwell, but then it becomes quite the opposite. And something else that she talks about too in this article is that the complicated narrative style that we kind of talked about a moment ago, with the weird text and having to read some in the mirror and stuff, that it makes the reader just as disoriented as the character as the reader tries to navigate through the novel. And so that's something I'm trying to keep in mind too when I'm reading it, and I'm like, what is Mark Z. Danielewski doing? What is happening here? Why do I feel so confused? We're supposed to feel confused. And she talks about, after that kind of uncanny idea, she goes back to talking about postmodernism. And she says that the postmodern structure of House of Leaves really serves to emphasize the uncanniness. And she talks about the core of the story having different layers. The main core story is of Navidson and the sentient house. And she says that provides the initial dread and horror of the uncanny. Then she says the next layer is that of Zampano, and that is the blind man who gets obsessed with the Navidson record documentary and puts together like this scrapbook thing. So he's another layer trying to analyze the Navidson documentary. And she says that Zampano, by taking that Navidson report and attempting to expose its curiosities, is filling in that portion of the uncanny where what used to be repressed or secret is being brought to light. And then she says, finally, in that last narrative layer, Johnny Truant's, that the definition of the uncanny can be seen in his part as what has been repressed is returning and being applied to his character. And she says also that he has a lot of issues with his mother. And so many events from his past with her are kind of playing on his mental state as he's going through this scrapbook and kind of exploring this house. So those are some things that I'm trying to keep in mind to appreciate what this author is doing when he seems to be getting a little out there. So any questions or any thoughts that you have, or like I said, just let me know if you plan to read. I see some leaf emojis, and I see some smiley faces. So leaf emoji if you're going to try this adventure with us. A smiley face or a heart if you're like, no, not this time. Also, what's everybody planning to do today? What are your plans for when we break off for 45 minutes? I'm dropping my stuff. Are you gonna go ahead and start reading it? I am. I'll be reading it during the break. Anybody else gonna start today with it? Got other productivity or other books you're reading? Quiet. All right. Since we don't have much going on right now, I will go ahead and pull up that timer, and we'll do 45 seconds. It always takes me a minute to kind of figure out what what I need to do. To get the timer going. I'm not always the quickest with it. And for some reason, there we go. No, it didn't share, did it? Yeah, I understand. It's going to take a little time, right? I'm glad to see you here too. Yeah, it's been on my shelves, like I said, for a while. I was talking about at the beginning. This is my fourth attempt, and I am determined that it is going to happen this time. Let me see. I don't know why my screen isn't sharing, other than I am not always the best with this. Let's see. Maybe that'll do it. Okay, not cancel. I didn't think I did. Y'all are getting seen. Y'all are getting all of my terrible tech issues. But I'm glad my thoughts helped. Like I said, I read a lot of other people's thoughts too, because I didn't want to get discouraged this time. I was like, I'm gonna appreciate what's happening here. I'm gonna do it this time. So I thought, if these kind of, analytical aspects of the novel are helping me get more excited and feel more invested, that it can help other people too. And don't feel like you have to look for any of those things if you don't want to. If you just want to read it just to read it, don't be like, well, I got to be schooled on this, so don't worry about it. Yeah, 5 years, I know. Let me try this screen again. This is terrible, y'all. I don't want to upgrade for an extra camera. Sometimes StreamYard is challenging for me. I teach online classes, but that's through Zoom. And so I'm quite familiar with Zoom. So sometimes StreamYard gets to me a little bit. So let me see. Let's see. That's not the right screen, but I'm close. I've done a couple of lives before, but it's been a long time. Most of the time, I go on other people's channels for lives or sprints, as a guest. But I feel like the more I do this, the better I'm going to get at it, just like anything, right? Just like anything. I think this is going to be the one, y'all. Ah, I think that did it. Now, I'm going to take myself off and see y'all after 45 minutes. Let me start the timer. That would help. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to go get into House of Leaves, and I will see you all in about 45 minutes. Hello. So, what did everybody get up to during the break? Let's see. I can't remember if I responded to the book thing. I can't remember the book thing's name. So, let me know your name if you're still here. I think we did look at that one and say, yeah, it does take a little while to work your way or work your motivation up to get to House of Leaves. Try good. I hope you can make it back. Let's see. Melissa popped in for a minute, which I appreciate. She's at work, so she can't stay. And she's not going to read House of Leaves. DNF'd it. Yeah, I totally understand that too. Jillian, yeah, I could use a nap today. I don't know if I'll have a chance to really take one, but I certainly could use it. Um, so I did make it about halfway through the introduction, and that is written by Johnny Truant, and it is interesting so far. I'm already picking up on those themes of like the psychoanalytical theory about his mental state, and definitely the deconstructive theory and the questioning of whether he's telling the truth or not because he's relaying this story. And there's a lot of layers already into the discovery of this scrapbook that Zampano had about the Navison record documentary. So it's interesting. It's actually keeping my interest so far, but like I said, I only made it about halfway through the intro, so I haven't gotten too far yet. So a couple of other things that I wanted to mention about ways to kind of go into this. There are a couple of themes that I do have that I found in this lovely House of Leaves study guide. So this is another resource I have that can help me out. But one of the themes that they mentioned is the theme of Eros and Thanatos, and that goes back to Freud again. There's this Eros and Thanatos duality that in Freudian terminology, Eros would be the life instinct, and that's essentially the desire to live, to, be successful and to create. And then you have its counterpart or its opposite in Thanatos, which is the death drive. And that is the drive to move toward destruction and violence. And apparently, these main characters are going to experience tension between Eros and Thanatos, that life drive versus that death drive. And one of the things that I noticed, already in this introduction is Johnny Truant talks about if he could go back to this one certain point in his life, he revisits the past and he asks this question of the reader, like, have you ever, thought back to a time where you did something in the past that you regret or that came back to bite you, basically, and you want to scream at your past self, no, don't do that, don't do that. But you can't, And so he talks about that. So that made me kind of think about that death drive. Like he goes into something in the past that has now caused him, as he talks about at the opening of the introduction, to have nightmares, to be utterly despondent, and he's always on the search for something to try to make life more tolerable. He's got some alcohol and drug abuse, and he's just trying everything he can to try to cope. So that's already very evident in the beginning. And that also is lending this idea to the unreliability of him as a narrator. So that's interesting so far. A couple of other things. One of the other themes is the instability of place and time, which is okay. That might have been like the little break thing. I don't know. I'm not worried about that that cat. But anyway, the instability of place and time, of course, with the house being bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And also, it talks about this idea of perception, how what we see can be changed according to situations, and how what we interpret for a certain place or time is going to be different from the way other people interpret it. And then another theme that's mentioned is narrative instability, which we've also talked about in the first, discussion before we broke off, that you have this instability in the way that this book is constructed, with the weird writing in different ways and different colors and different fonts and sideways and all that kind of stuff. So those are a few other things. And then I also wanted to mention, you may already know this, but Mark Z. Danielewski's sister Poe is a musician, and she has an entire album called Haunted that serves as a companion piece to House of Leaves. And I've listened to that album, and I will also link that, down in the description box below. Or I guess you can do that after Sprints or Live. I'll put it somewhere on YouTube and Instagram. And I did want to mention also Christine from the wonderful booktube channel Secrets Read. She is attempting to read House of Leaves with us, and she has a book club Discord for her book club. And she messaged me and offered to create a Discord on her channel for House of Leaves, so I won't have to try to figure everything out for myself. So she's going to work on that when she gets in from work. And so as soon as she sends me those links to the Discord book group for House of Leaves, I will post those too. But I will still be putting stuff up on Instagram and YouTube in case you don't have Discord. So you can find the information now. It'll be in 3 places: Discord, Instagram, and YouTube. So surely one of those can work for you. I guess that is about it. If you have anything, like I said, anything you want to share about what you're getting up to, even if it's not House of Leaves, you can let me know. And I am getting hungry, so I think we'll take another 45-minute break, and hopefully I'll figure this one out a lot faster than I did before. So we won't have to wait forever while I try to figure stuff out. So let's see if this works the first time. I'm going to put up that kitty for another 45 why do I keep wanting to say 45 seconds? 45 minutes, and I will see you all in a little while. Bye for now. Hello, what did everybody get up to during our sprint? Let me see. Thank you for stopping by, Jillian. I hope you get some rest. Uh, and good luck on getting started on reading House of Leaves tonight. Thank you again for stopping by. Hey, Nicole, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much for booping that like button and stopping to say hello. So, what did everybody else get up to during that sprint? I did not read any of House of Leaves during that sprint. I got my lunch and then I was checking Instagram and doing some other scrolling on my phone. But over this last sprint that's coming up in a little bit, I plan to at least get through the introduction of House of Leaves. So I'd love to know what you got up to. Really trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about. There's a couple of other things that I will mention too. Again, this is one of the resources I'm using as we go through this together, the study guide for House of Leaves. Hey, Cobalt Dragon, remind me of your name if you want me, if you want me to call you Cobalt Dragon, I can, but if you don't mind sharing your name, I would love to be able to use your name and working on getting files and pictures organized. Yeah, that is something that I always have like in the back of my mind. Like I really should do that. And then I just procrastinate and I don't get it done. So good luck to you and good for you for getting that done. Elaine. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Elaine. So we are kicking off the House of Leaves reading group read book club for November. But anybody who is not reading House of Leaves, please stay because this is sprints for anybody for anything that you want to do. But if you are reading House of Leaves, there are a couple of other things I want to mention before we go to our next sprint. And this is some more to do with like symbols that would be in House of Leaves. One of the symbols is the beast or monster. So one of the things that we can look at as we're going through House of Leaves is questioning who or what is the beast or monster. Because apparently there is a literal presence of a monster, but then there is also a symbolic presence. And we can also think about some of the characters that are in the story, whether we could consider them to be monstrous. And then another symbol, of course, is going to be the house itself, the house on Ash Tree Lane. And it is the center of the Navidson film, the center of Zampano, I think that's how I'm going to say his name anyway, Zampano's manuscript, and then Johnny Truant's footnotes and all of his stuff. So the house itself and its ever-changing presence is another symbol. Something else that I found in my research and kind of getting ready for us to read House of Leaves is that the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur is going to be referenced frequently throughout the book. So that's something else I thought as we were reading, we might want to take note of, how that plays out. How is that myth used? What does it mean for this story that we are reading, or should I say stories in House of Leaves? And another thing that I found in my research too, as I was kind of trying to prepare for reading House of Leaves, is that one of the centerpieces for the novel is a film, of course, the Navidson record or documentary. And the author, Mark Z. Danielewski, has said that film and film criticism were a major influence in his writing of House of Leaves. So I think that is pretty clear because we have questions about who has ownership of this story. Is it Will Navidson, who is the one who did the documentary? Is it Zampano? Is it Johnny? And when that is just a break meow, so sorry about that. if y'all can even hear it, I don't know, since my screen isn't being shared right now. I'm sure you can hear it. But anyway, just those kind of, no, I got distracted. Cinematic, right? Film and film criticism. Who has the right to tell the story and who's telling the truth, if there is truth. So, just so many layers that I'm trying to keep in mind as we're reading House of Leaves. But like I said, if you don't care to dig into all that literary analysis and theory, you can read it just for fun, right? No pressure here. I just have to kind of get myself into the headspace to appreciate what's being done in this novel so I won't give up on it, right? Yeah, procrastinating. Yes, that is, yeah, I do the same thing. I have pictures that I want to use, and I don't have folders labeled nicely. So I'm always like searching for stuff, and it is very frustrating. I'm more organized on, like, because I teach online classes. So I kind of have to keep those things organized. But sometimes when it comes to my own personal, stuff that I want to use, I'm not as good at that. But I find that too with procrastination, at least in my experience, it's always worse before I start the task than if I just get in there and get started. And I'm like, this is not so bad. And you would think I would learn, but I never do. So I just keep procrastinating the next time again and again. So if that is all right with everybody, we will do one more 45-minute sprint and then we will come back. And after that, we'll go. So let's do one more. And let me pull up our kitty here. It always takes me a little bit of time to do this. One day I'll be really fast at getting this done. Like I said, lives are still a little bit out of my comfort zone. Happy reading and good luck sorting and filing, Elaine. You got this. Hello. What did everybody get up to during that sprint? Did you get some reading? Elaine, how did your sorting and filing go? Did you make some headway? Hey, Bad, how are you? Yeah, give it a try. It is intimidating, which is what has taken me so long to try it again. But I feel like with our group read and everybody kind of working together and a schedule where we're taking our time with it, I feel like all of that is going to help us. Let's see, a physical copy. Yeah, I don't know, like because of the structure of this book, I don't even know if they have an audio or like an ebook edition. Somebody can let me know. But like, here's one of the examples of how weird some of this text is. Here's another. So I don't know. I don't know how it would work in other formats. But you can read along if you choose to. I am going to have like weekly check-ins on Instagram and YouTube. And the wonderful Christine at Secrets Read, she has a Discord channel, and she's going to put up on her Discord channel a section for our House of Leaves group read, because I have Discord, but I've never, done anything other than like interact with other people on Discord. So Christine is going to head up that Discord section. So the same thing will be there, like the weekly schedule and kind of topics of discussion each week. So you can find those on YouTube, Instagram, and Discord, because I want to try to make sure that whatever format people want to check in on, that they have access to it. So it might be more work for me to be in 3 places, but what else am I going to do for myself if I don't make work for myself, right? So let me check on some more comments. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said at the beginning, I was talking a lot about literary theory and themes and symbolism in House of Leaves. And for me, that encourages me to read it, to kind of get into it and understand a bit more about what the author's trying to do. So maybe I'll feel less intimidated because I'm prepared. But also, if you don't care about literary theory or, trying to analyze too much, no pressure. You don't have to do that. Of course, you can just read and have a good time with this book, if that's possible. I don't know if a good time, I don't know what kind of time is going to be. A crazy time, I think. You have your own brand of nerd bad. You are very smart, very creative. I love your channel. I love your videos. You have a nerd brain too. And Cobalt saying hello to Bad. There you go. See, Elaine, I admire you for getting in and getting that sorting and filing done, because it can be very overwhelming. Discord. Yeah, I know that name. It does kind of make you question, like, okay, Discord. It is overwhelming. Definitely. I feel like things like are coming, like messages on it so much, so much, so much. But some people like that a lot. So I am perfectly, willing, since especially since Christine is going to be putting up the House of Leaves book club discussion on her channel, so I can just go in and chat there. She is going to get that together and send me the links later on today. So as soon as I have those Discord links, I will post them here and on Instagram also, if you're following along there. Get around. Yes, that would be nice, to have it all in one place, because it can get overwhelming. Discord itself, as I said, it's already overwhelming. And then you're trying to, be here in this place and here in that place and wondering, did I post this here? Have I put it over here yet? That's a little bit stressful. Okay, I don't know that one. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, this like House of Leaves has some really weird narration and just setup. Some pages like just have like here's it's just on this page. So yeah, that's the reason why we're taking our time with this book. I am calling it like the November group read or book club, but actually the schedule that I put out for reading it, again, you don't have to stick to that schedule. It's just I feel like it's a good schedule where we won't get overwhelmed with it. But starting off today, you would read it and go through like December 12th. So it's technically like going into December. But when I was looking at this book and trying to see if it would fit all into just like 4 or 5 weeks or whatever, however many weeks we have in November this year, I was like, no, that's going to be too much to try to put that all in a month. And I would rather spread it out over time so that we can take our time with it, because I started it today and I've only been able to get through the introduction because I am stopping and taking notes, but also at the same time, just that introduction is kind of heavy on content. Oh, that's so good. 2025. Yeah, that'll be great. If they can add some more features for us on YouTube, that would be great. I did want to mention, like, I was looking on Goodreads because I was, marking that I'm reading House of Leaves, and I laughed so much at this 1-star review that I wanted to share with you all about the book that we're reading together. So now I'm going to give you a 1-star review of it. This is from a Goodreads user named Sarah, and she wrote about House of Leaves in her 1-star review. Totally infuriating. It made me feel dumb, bored, and annoyed all at once. If I want that, I'll date my first boyfriend again. And it just made me laugh so much. Now I'm trying to see if I can get to a 5-star review that would be good but not give too much away. Here's a 5-star review. I'll kind of condense what this person said because I want to give you both ends of the spectrum of, the good and the bad. Yeah, some review, right? Here's the 5-star. House of Leaves is not an easy book to read. It will not only challenge your ability to hold a weighty tome at numerous different angles for prolonged periods of time as you endeavor to read text, which is upside down, back to front, and shoots vertically or diagonally up and down the page, but it will challenge your idea of what a novel is and how a novel should be presented. I'll begin by summarizing the story. And she writes, or he, or they, I'm not sure. This reader, Shovel Monkey, so I'm not sure. But they write that this was for their own sanity and clarity of thought. It had been somewhat muddied in the reading process, and then talked about how it has all of these different layers. Like, it looks like there could be some spoilers, so I don't even want those. So I'm trying to skip. Goodness, this is a long review. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to try to read all that, but that person did give it 5 stars, so it sounds like it challenged that person, but they appreciated the challenge. So that's kind of how I'm feeling. That it's going to be challenging, but I hope a good challenge for us. I just love this community. I'm looking at the comments now. Yes, so many people working together, supporting each other, checking on each other. Just I didn't even ask Christine to do the Discord. She'd asked me if I was going to have one because she just wanted to make sure that she didn't miss anything I'd announced. And I said, I don't know. I said, I'm on Discord as a user, but I don't know if I feel like trying to figure out how to do my own, channel on there to talk about the book. And she volunteered. She said, hey, I've got a channel now since, because Christine has a book club with Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems. I think their book club is called the Fright Club, I think is what it's called. And so she already established, her channel there on Discord, and she just offered to do that for me. And that's just one example out of the many that I can share about how supportive this community is. I am, I've been doing my YouTube channel since January, and my subscriber rate is still pretty low, all things considered. I think I have around 260 now. And I know some people, once they're hitting that 1 year mark, have like 1,000 subscribers or more. And that used to bother me, but the past several months, I have let that go because that's not good for your mental health. And really, it doesn't matter what that subscriber number is. What has been more meaningful to me has been the community I've built just in, this time that I've been here. And it's just wonderful. Like everyone here today, I know other people wanted to be here. They couldn't make it because not everybody can do these like weekday during the daytime meetings because some people are working outside the home. Now I do work in the home. I teach online classes and I don't teach on Fridays. So Fridays are kind of my day to do what, kind of whatever I want to do. So let me check this out. Oh, yay. Yay. You're sold. I'm excited, but then I think people, depending on how they feel about this book, may end up looking at me like, why did you do this to me? How did you make me read this? Yes, it is good to check on each other because I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things right now. I'm going through some things that are pretty difficult. And I talk a little bit about things on my channel, but obviously I don't put it all out there. But I've gotten some personal messages today, just people like, how's it going? Is everything okay? And these are people I've never met in real life. And it's just wonderful to see this kind of community that we have. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you did the community joy and gratitude tag. That tag was created by another lovely, lovely booktuber, Pat, at Book Chat with Pat. And if you have not checked out her channel, you need to do that. She is a retired English teacher, and you can just tell every one of her videos that she would have been the most amazing English teacher to have. She's so warm and friendly and knowledgeable and just insightful and just an absolute delight to watch. Oh, yeah, I try. I try to be a sweetheart. Lives, as I've mentioned before, like I probably don't have to tell you all this, lives are a bit awkward for me, which is kind of weird because most of the classes I teach online, I am like live online teaching students, but there's just something different about coming on and trying to make sure I get all the tech right with StreamYard and all of that. And then I feel a little awkward. So I appreciate everybody being here and getting through my awkwardness with these live sprints. I'm trying to get comfortable with doing them more, and the only way to do that is to do them more. So yeah, I'm gonna try to conquer that. Yeah, focus on how. Yes, exactly. You are so right, and I love your channel. Cobalt Dragons channel, Elaine's channel is another wonderful channel. So is Bad. She's got a great channel. So absolutely, it can be very devastating to your soul and to your outlook if you focus on that subscriber number. So having fun and building community As long as that's the priority, it is wonderful. Yes. Hi, Natalie. How are you? Last month until maternity leave is over. The book. Oh, what book is it? What book are you reading? Yeah. Well, if you are, taking care of a baby, you don't always have a lot of time to read, right? So that will take up a lot of your time. Yes, Pat is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much because it is, these lives, I just feel a little bit flighty. My brain gets a little loopy sometimes when I get nervous. So I am, and I am just like, I don't know why well, I do know why I keep fidgeting. ADHD. So woohoo, yay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the coffee mug video was a lot of fun. Here's the thing, too, since Bad is here, I'm going to talk about Bad a little bit. I put out a video just kind of sharing my favorite coffee mugs. And then Bad messaged me and she was like, you know what? It'd be great if you did like a tag to go with your favorite coffee mug, something like a cozy coffee mug book tag. So the brain, it was a brainchild of Bad at first. And then I just took her idea and went with her suggestion and created the prompts to go with it. So, yay. Oh, it is House of Leaves. Okay, Natalie. So, how's it going for you? You're probably further in than I am because I'm only through the introduction. So, what is your experience so far, Natalie? And that's what I've heard. This is a journey. This is an experience, not really just reading a novel. And that has been my take so far in the little bit I've read. I've already written a lot of notes, and I almost feel like, and I think this is kind of what you're supposed to feel like with this, like I'm another person adding to the story. Like, here's one of my little notes sticking out over here. And then I have my own little sideways and different colored text. So I'm just adding to it. And yes, I'm sorry if that upsets you. I do write in some of my books. Now, some of them I don't, but this one I'm like, I think this is the kind of book the reader is meant to write in. So Elaine. Yeah, never get, but exactly. It does. I'm sorry you have to experience that too. But on the other hand, hey, there can be benefits to it. Sometimes hyper focus and hyper fixation can be a good thing. Hey, Jackie, I'm glad you made it too. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know it's hard for a lot of people to make sprints during the day, during the week, but since I work from home and I purposefully don't schedule any classes to teach on Friday, Fridays kind of work for me. Yeah. Yeah, another book murderer. Yeah, that's me. Like I said, just with certain books. There are other books I would like never write in. I typically don't write in like my hardcover books, but some of my paperback books I do. And then it depends on what the book is. But let's see. I want to thank. It's a little after 1. I have planned to go to 1. I've got some other stuff I have to do this afternoon, like go to the store, and not the fun kind of store either, like the drugstore and the grocery store. So nothing too exciting, but I need to get all that done before my daughter gets home from school. I am so glad if you joined that you got to join. And again, if you're joining us for House of Leaves, you can find the schedule and discussion points at different areas of the interwebs. You can find information on YouTube, Instagram, and eventually Discord. And I will give you all of those links as soon as I have all of them. The only ones I don't have yet are the Discord. So I'll get that And if you have any kind of questions, you can message me on Instagram, and there I am, Literary Love 123, just like on YouTube, Literary Love 123. My email is literarylove123@gmail.com. So you can even email me if you have questions, or if you can't find the schedule and stuff like that. So later on, at some point this weekend, I will put up like a little synopsis, short and sweet, about some of the things that we talked about at the beginning, some of the themes and symbols and like literary theories you can look for as you read House of Leaves if you want to. If you don't want to look at any of that and you just want to read it, absolutely do that. But for those of you who want to get, a little bit into it with the brain, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out today. And I will see you all in the next sprint. I'm not sure when I'll do them again, but I am going to get more consistent with these, because the only way to feel less anxious about them is just to jump in here and do it. I should have another vlog coming out, I hope tomorrow. It may be Sunday, like the final week of Halloween-a-thon and the Spooky Scary Skeleton Readathon, and of course all the Halloween shenanigans that I got up to. So I will look forward to seeing you all at some place soon. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend. And good luck to everyone reading House of Leaves or whatever it is that you are working on or doing this weekend. Bye.